An architect greets what she believes to be a bricklayer in an arrogant and authoritarian tone. "I want you to accompany me on the construction site," she orders. When he replies that he'll do it, but first he'll finish eating, she makes it clear that she's not asking. Called Susanna, she wants him to get up and accompany her immediately. Nevertheless, the kind man repeats that he will accompany her as far as she wants, but first he will finish eating. Disgusted by this, the woman exclaims that in that place, she commands and he obeys. Despite the humiliating insults, the man is undeterred and points out that it's time to eat, and that's why he won't leave until he's finished his bread. He doesn't understand what the problem is. In an even more despicable and disrespectful move, the arrogant architect takes the bread and rubs it in the face of the worker, an older man who deserves respect. Just then, another bricklayer appears and asks what's going on. For some reason, the humiliated man says it's nothing. Of course, the other worker realizes that something is wrong. Susanna also pretends it's nothing and introduces herself once again as the new supervisor. Igor, for his part, is in charge of the construction site. Complaining non-stop, the woman recommends that he talk to the HR team and suggests that employees be hired more carefully. No, but Igor tries to explain, but he is interrupted by the other man, still unnamed. The architect doesn't care who he is. She just wants someone to accompany her. Igor, the man in charge of the site, will do this. Finally, the other man is named Gringo. Alone, he comments that Susanna is undeniably a beautiful woman. He intends to win her over. "She'll know who I really am." The next day, the architect and the supposed carpenter meet once again. Susanna complains once again because she believes he is resting. Always disrespectful, the woman throws a glass of water at him. The unscrupulous architect sees herself as better than mere workers. Therefore, she doesn't accept anyone touching her. Like yesterday, she wants someone to accompany her around the site. Gringo doesn't understand why she treats him like this. After all, he's been kind to her ever since. And since she doesn't like him, it's also confusing to understand why she doesn't call another employee to accompany her. According to the disrespectful architect, she goes to him because she doesn't want to see him sitting around resting anymore. This is a workplace, not a place for old people to rest. The woman promises that if he starts working for real, and not just pretending, she won't go there anymore because, as she has already made clear, she's disgusted by people like him. Gringo assures her that he will work hard, as he always does. At another point, with his plan to win her over and surprise her with who he is, the man presents the architect with a soft drink. But as you can imagine, Susanna doesn't want to be praised by him and doesn't want to be disturbed at work by what she claims is a waste of time. Gringo, however, points out that he's just saying that she looks beautiful. It's an innocent compliment and nothing more. On the other hand, she thinks he's just a disgusting, lazy carpenter. Susanna compares the supposed worker to a fly. To her, they are the same things. Nothing important. The architect advises him to stop trying to be her friend and start working, that's all. If he carries on like this, she intends to talk to HR about getting him fired. Despite this threat of dismissal, Gringo shows her that he has brought her a soft drink. It's a very hot day, and he thinks a cold drink is a good choice. The man is aware that it's a humble gift, but he hopes she likes it. Ironically, she asks if he really wants to please her, and a little naively, he replies that yes, he wants to see her well. Nevertheless, just as she did with the water, Susanna throws the soft drink in the man's direction. Gringo doesn't understand why she's so angry with him. Shouting even louder, the architect reinforces her feeling of contempt for people like him. She hopes that now he will understand this once and for all. A Gringo got the message. He won't bother her anymore. That was the last time. Susanna really hopes so. She's tired of his nonsense. He's there to work for her, not to try and please her with mediocre gifts. The man remarks that it's not right to treat people like that and walks off to another place on the site. Another moment. Now surprisingly kind, the architect greets the bricklayer. Susanna questions whether everything is all right, but he believes she wants something more, perhaps to offend him again. As he imagined, she wants a favor. Once arrogant, she now recognizes that Gringo has qualities that can help her, and so she acts in a gentler way. Susanna needs him to do a project for her. She has heard that he is the master of architectural design. But I thought I was a mediocre carpenter. Cynically, she changes her tune and recognizes that he is an excellent professional. The architect, who claimed he was lazy, seems to be too lazy to do a project and asks Gringo to do one for her. She needs him to do a project on the exact building they are working on. With a kiss on the cheek, she thanks him in advance. Susanna hopes he won't be long, because her deadline is imminent. If he does, she promises that he won't regret it, not explaining what exactly that means. Convinced and seduced by her beauty, the humiliated man will do her this favor. Later, Igor greets Gringo and asks what he's doing. Before the carpenter answers, he realizes that his colleague is doing the architect's work. Igor has no doubt. Gringo is in love with her. He confesses that yes, Susanna is a beautiful brunette, the kind of woman that attracts him. Although Igor agrees, she has mistreated and humiliated him ever since she arrived. Deeply in love, the older man feels that this woman is the love of his life, whom he will one day marry. He's sure that he can change Susanna's arrogant behavior, and the two of them will be able to form a happy couple. His heart tells him so. The other man advises him to be careful. Women like her often play on men's feelings. The carpenter is aware, but wants to believe that she is different. His friend hopes he's right, but the warning has been given. In any case, Igor thinks the best thing to do is for Gringo to reveal who he really is. The man who is apparently pretending to be an ordinary worker doesn't agree. It's not time yet. Susanna has to fall in love with who he is, not what he has. Igor agrees, but doesn't think she's the kind of woman who falls in love with feelings. In fact, she's getting rougher by the day. Gringo still wants to try. When he sees her, he can really feel that she is the woman of his life. She's the one he wants to marry, have children with, and build a family with. If that's the case, they have nothing more to talk about for the moment. Igor leaves, and Gringo thanks him for his advice. An hour later, the man in love hands the architect the finished project and a bouquet of flowers, confident that he has done a good job. Susanna has the audacity to complain that he took a little longer than she expected. Now he hands her the bouquet of flowers. The woman acknowledges that the flowers are beautiful, but wants to know what he wants with them. A romantic, he replies that they are flowers to honor a beautiful and wonderful woman like her, with whom he is completely in love. After getting what she wants, the architect returns to treating him as before, with indifference and disrespect. He doesn't understand the change in her behavior. When she asked for the favor, she treated him very well. She doesn't hide the fact that she just tricked him. The project was all she wanted, and now that she's got it, she no longer has to pretend that she doesn't dislike him. Susanna describes herself as a beautiful and cultured woman. Because of this, she needs to have relationships with men on the same level as her. Gringo finally gets tired of humiliating himself. It doesn't make sense to be in love with a despicable woman like her. Feeling that she owns him, the architect stresses that she forbids Gringo to say that he has any feelings for her. It's disgusting to know that a bricklayer is in love with her. About the flowers, she throws them at him. According to her, she's allergic and just wants to work, unlike him, a dishonest comment considering that the project in her hands was done precisely by him. Gringo confronts her for the first time. He won't leave. He announces that it is she who is leaving. She doesn't understand what he means and walks on, but she will soon find out the whole truth. Later that day, Igor talks to the architect about her project. It's a formidable piece of work. What's more, she's a liar and points out that her project is excellent. Susanna says that this is her specialty. A kind of scam artist, she just spouts generic words because she can't explain what's actually in the project. The man agrees. It's an amazing project. Suddenly, to her surprise, a beautiful car pulls up next to them. The driver of the vehicle leaves her even more dumbfounded. It's Gringo, the supposed bricklayer she's humiliated many times. Better dressed, he greets Igor. Confused, the rude woman demands an explanation right away. Susanna wants to understand how a poor man can own a car like that and be so well dressed. Gringo then reveals his true identity. He's the owner of the construction company responsible for that building. When she thought he was just a carpenter, she always treated him very badly. Susanna treats people the way that suits her. Still arrogant, she justifies that she treats people as they deserve. Now that she knows he owns the company, she will treat him differently as a result. But that won't happen, because he doesn't want a person like her in that building. Lying to the point of believing her own lies, the woman says she's there because she deserves it. However, Gringo knows that this is not the truth. After all, it was he who did the project. As well as being a terrible professional, she is a despicable woman in every sense. Nothing justifies her staying on as the architect and supervisor of that construction site. Susanna begs for one more chance. She swears she can change. Unfortunately for her, it's too late. The businessman gave her several opportunities while he pretended to be an ordinary worker. She is definitely not the type of person he is looking for, as a woman and as an employee. Gringo wishes it were different, but there's no denying reality. Before that, the despicable woman disappoints once again. She takes the project and rips it to shreds. Igor is happy that his friend has made the right decision. He knew she was that kind of woman, a mad woman. But the important thing is that they found out who she really is before it was too late. Grateful for Igor's advice, Gringo offers him the job of supervisor and architect. Happy with this opportunity, he doesn't think twice and accepts. As well as being a great professional, he's a genuinely nice guy. Do you think he did the right thing? Or did that woman deserve another chance? Leave your opinion in the comments.